What are diminished seventh chords? That's the question of the day. So let's talk about that. Christopher Brent here, coming to you today with a tutorial on diminished seventh chords and how to form them and the theory behind them. So if we look at first a minor 7 chord, you got to realize that diminished chords are built on minor chords. So diminished would mean that we have to flatten the fifth. That's going to have to happen every time, right? So this would be a D half diminished seventh. And to make it fully diminished, we simply take the seventh and flatten that as well and bring that down from C to C flat. So that's going to give us a fully diminished seventh chord, which is going to be indicated in a jazz chart with a circle. So it would say D, then you'd see the little circle followed by seventh. That would indicate that we have to play, or at least look at the concept, of course, of the D diminished seventh chord. Now if you see the circle with a little slash through that circle, that would mean a half diminished seventh, which would be this. So half diminished because we're only diminishing the fifth and not the seventh. So that's what a half diminished 7 means. So the notes of the D half diminished 7 would be D, F, A flat, and C. This is often indicated by simply calling this a D minor 7 flat 5. That's another way to say it. So I like to think of it as a half diminished, but you can also think of this as a D minor 7 flat 5. So the fully diminished 7, we'd have to bring down the C to C flat to give us that fully diminished sound. So the diminished chords are pretty unique. They have a very spooky sound. Actually, Beethoven liked to use a lot of diminished seventh chords or diminished chords in his music. So here's the fully diminished 7 for D diminished 7, and here's D half diminished 7 with the left hand. And you can use a variety of fingerings, of course, to do this, and it's going to depend on what's going on in the context of your music. And just like any other chord, you can, of course, make inversions of these, okay? And just move tones down from one octave to the other. That's what you're doing when you make inversions out of chords anyway. So, and you can arpeggiate these in a variety of ways, which can be a lot of fun when you're soloing and making things up. So that's a little bit about diminished 7 chords. Just to review that again, you got to have a minor chord first. Then you flatten the fifth, and if you want to make it fully diminished, you flatten the fifth and the seventh. Okay, so remember, diminished, you have to have the minor, you got to flatten the fifth. That always has to happen. And then if you're going to use the seventh, you have the option of flattening the seventh. If you want to make it fully diminished, you have to flatten that seventh. So hopefully that helps you get a good idea for the concept of diminished seventh chords. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at chrisbrentmusic@gmail.com. Also check out my website at christopherbrent.com. Thank you so much.